For 5 minutes you get transported 30 years into the future. You sit in front of a computer. What information do you look up? I panic for 5 minutes. Same. I feel like I would waste the time arguing with myself about what to look up and end up finding mostly useless info, like science info I don't understand the science of, or financial info that I don't understand, and all of it would be so recent I wouldn't understand the context. That'd be the first 2 minutes, and then I'd panic and beat myself up for wasting time and not managing to find any useful info. I'd go back home and be depressed for years about the wasted opportunity. Okay, I am gonna type. Wait, where is the keyboard? Picks up mouse. Hello computer. Just use the keyboard. My name. Knowing my own future scares me. I hesitate about that answer, but I will almost consider looking up my son's. He's only a toddler, so he'd be a full-fledged adult by that time. Even then, I don't know if I like the answer. Perhaps that's why the majority are lottery numbers or stocks. At least with money, we could live without financial worry. Paradox. If you see your future and you're successful, you might be lazy knowing this information, which makes you not successful. But the thing is, how do you see yourself successful in the future if you aren't? Biggest companies founded in the 2020s. List of presidents and major world events. 3 tabs, 3 Google searches, and hopefully a pen to write them on my hand and hope it transfers back. Google 4-5 stocks that went to the moon, and etch that shit into your arms along with 5-10 duds. Who cares if you come home with 2 ND grade pencil war day injuries? You're about to theoretically live forever. Snap a few photos of the injuries, and go to the police to report being jumped by a homeless guy that held you down and etched some weird shit into you under threat of death while reciting Latin. Now you have a cover story for then the SEC wants to know how you knew BCRX and 4 other stocks were going to the moon. A homeless guy carved it into me, and honestly, I took it as a sign. Now produce tapes of the therapy where you rationalize it to your therapist as a coping mechanism, and the therapist tells you that you're absolutely not handling the trauma well. I also dropped all this money into these stocks that were meh, so I guess I just got lucky. Don't finger any of the guys they bring into a lineup because 1, that's gross, and 2, that's mean, but let it slide as an unsolved case. You've now covered your tracks and tossed some chaff into the air to boot, so you can just wait this out. You only need to pull in about $500,000 if you're in your 30s, twice that in your 40s, and twice that again in your 50s. Then sell and diversify, as depending on the type of time travel physics you're dealing with, your actions may ripple outward and affect the final outcome, a la the butterfly effect. You don't want to wake up one day with no figurative arms because you fucked with figurative firecrackers. So now you figuratively need your mom to literally jerk you off, take your winnings and sink them into broad index funds. You can expect a diverse index fund to double about once a decade, 7 years really, but I prefer to use conservative numbers when calculating temporal investments. 1 million in 7 years becomes 4 million in 21 years, allowing you to retire in your 50s. That's more than enough for a comfortable life on self-sustaining investment. Gotta remember, the younger you are when you do this, the more likely life extension therapies will be available while you're in retirement. They will be incredibly expensive at first, I'm sure. So if you're ready with the cash in hand, you can delay your death until therapies improve to the point of adding more than 1 year on average to life expectancy every year. That is how you turn your time travel investments into a theoretical eternal life. Thank you for listening to my day drinking rant. Here's to being in quarantine for the 4th fucking time in a year because my coworkers can't stop licking doorknobs. Edit. Only edit I'll make is to address fans of the lotto method. Instant money rarely results in happiness. I would rather spend 30 years knowing my future is secure than have a level of wealth that alters my life and relationships with friends and family forever. You can't hide that kind of wealth, and it's never enough to help everyone who deserves it. This is my selfish fantasy. I want security, not wealth, lol. This is way too detailed not to be a personal account of something you actually experienced. The summer of 2020 was wild. DFV side account? The only evidence I have that I'm not that guy is I used to live stream rotting meat on the internet for fun and oddly enough zero profit. The project cost me like $30 in ground beef. Would a day trader devote hours a week to meat streaming? This is absolutely something I could see a day trader do, or more likely swing trader. Check the markets for 3 hours, go check on the rotting meat, talk about entropy and decay on the camera next to the rotting meat, eat dinner. Eat meat, sleep repeat. Maybe some uppers or microdosing tossed in there for some reason. Bro, this is awesome. And also ridiculous because there's nothing illegal with selecting stocks that go to the moon. Many people do that all the time and the SEC doesn't care. Also FYI, insider trading laws only apply to legal insiders, who are people specifically designated as insiders by the company, which you would not be, so there's zero reason the SEC would even look at you. I'm sure the SEC's Temporal Trading Committee would beg to differ. Their suits are made from the fabric of space-time from what I hear. Clearly I'm looking up biggest lottery winnings, or top 10 Fortune 500 companies. You could also see if crypto has stuck around and which exploded, not to mention sports betting on major events could net you some serious cash. Sports, haven't you seen Back to the Future 2? askreddit thread about what stocks a time traveler from 30 years ago should buy to maximize their earnings. Time traveler from 30 years ago, what stock should I buy? 2021 guy, Apple, TT, nah, they haven't been any good since they kicked Steve Jobs out. Big boobies, robot boobies, this is the way. Big robot boobies. I think I might look at social media to see what people are nostalgic about and miss from 30 years ago and try to enjoy it more when I go back. My dude, you already know what people are going to miss in 30 years. Spend time with your loved ones, friends and family alike. Take care of yourself, have fun, take risks. Truth be told, right now I'm mostly nostalgic about all the shit we can't do during COVID. Holy shit, do I want to go to a concert, or sit at a bar with some shitty 80s music blaring and play pool? Probably stocks. Lottery numbers could get changed by random acts, but a company would be solid. Then I'd check on my parents and see if there is anything I could do to keep them alive longer with future knowledge. Would probably spend that 5 minutes with all that if I'm quick. It's so wholesome that you'd think of your parents. Bitch. I'd steal a computer. Who wouldn't want a computer 30 years more advanced than anything we have right now? A library computer would probably be more powerful than any gaming laptop we have now. What do you mean it can't connect to the internet? Why is it unable to go down to 5 GHz? Where the hell is the Ethernet port? What the hell are these? USB 7.0? What the hell is that? I can't plug into this shit. I'll just take my 8 TB drive and copy the entire content of Wikipedia to it, return to my timeline and spend the next 20 hours reading it and making a fortune by the second. The guy who thought to bring a stack of floppy disks from 1991 to our time is having trouble copying valuable information from our modern computers. Someone said I could buy one from the Amazon, but WTF were they talking about? Gets run over by a logging truck to the middle of the Amazon rainforest. You need to get lucky and hope that computers have USB ports compatible with your cables. You need, at minimum, a compatible port. My guess is the average computer will have 0 ports by then. An OS that has driver support for a 30-year-old drive. An OS that has a file system that works with your drive. An OS that has support for physical external drives at all. Data bloat to have not rendered 8 TB unhelpful. Wikipedia to have avoided, for 3 decades, the shitty trend of making internet content shitty Java nonsense that can't easily be indexed. This plan is not going to work.